Hi guys, John here at JB Total Fitness. Just going to put a real quick video to show you how to develop your hamstrings and your glutes, predominantly your glutes. Now a lot of people refer back to the squat all the time, and the squat is a fantastic exercise to develop the glutes if done correctly. But there are many other exercises that we can do to develop them and get the results that we're after. And this applies to every muscle group that we're looking. We can't just do one movement and expect fantastic results. We've got to bring in different movements, different rep ranges to really get results that we want. So as I said, the squat is fantastic, particularly taking up a wider stance on the squat to develop your glutes and get more activation from the glutes. Taking that wider stance is going to really help. Also, sitting back and down is going to get more activation. But now I'm going to go into 3 other exercises to really activate your glutes and get the development that you want. One of them being the RDL, secondly the glute bridge, and thirdly using the 45-degree back extension machine that some of you may have used, may have not have. These are going to get great results, guys. So stay tuned and you'll see them in this video now. Okay guys, now onto RDLs. This is a great one for activation for the hamstrings and the glutes, okay? But it's got to be performed correctly. Now we've talked about the flexion of the hip. We've got to be able to flex at the hip here whilst keeping the back as flat as possible. Now in this position here, I can already feel my glutes, a stretch of my glutes and a stretch of my hamstrings. Okay, so I'm sitting down slightly from my knees into it. I'm pushing my hips back. My upper body is coming down and getting a nice stretch in my hamstrings. I'm driving my heels down into the ground. Okay, so if I was to use some kettlebells, I'd stand up, get my posture right. From here, slight bend in the knee, and then I'm going to push the hips back and look for that stretch in my hamstrings, in my glutes. And I'm going to drive up, drive my hips through, whilst driving my heels down into the ground and getting a good squeeze on my glutes. I'll come down again, big stretch, and drive through, squeeze. Okay, and all the way through that movement, I'm looking for constant tension. Extending the glutes, extending the hamstrings, and then squeezing them hard and contracting. Right guys, now we're going on to the 45 degree. This is a lot of people think this is just a back movement, which it is, but also we can isolate the hamstrings and the glutes, okay? Just by adjusting our movement slightly. So what we need to do is we're going to jab our feet up into the pads there. The pads here, just by my hips. I'm going to lock my back out. So again, the only mobility that I want is from my hips. Okay, so I'm going to bend from my hips, not from the back, from my hips. I want a slight bend in my knee, okay? And before I even move, I'm going to engage my hamstrings and my glutes. So I'm squeezing these hard. Okay, now I'm going to flex from my hip all the way down, get a good stretch, come up and squeeze with my glutes, my hamstrings. Not in my back. If I'm coming up to here, I'm feeling more in my back. Okay, so I want to come just here so I can get tension into my glutes. Come down, keeping that tension locked in, up and squeeze. Alright, and again, all the way through that movement, I'm keeping the muscles engaged. I'm squeezing as hard as I can at the top. Right, now the next exercise that we're going to do is a glute bridge. Now glute bridges, we can do them on the floor, we can do them off the edge of a bench, okay? Now what we usually do is we get a bar across our lap here, we'll put something around the bar to make it more comfortable for people. But the resistance is coming through my hips here, pushing down, so we would normally have a bar. I'm going to show you without a bar, just so I can show you. So first of all, what we would do is we come down onto the edge of the bench here, just the shoulder blades on the bench, feet hip width apart, arms out here. We can also put them on the bar if you feel comfortable to. We're going to get the hips down low, so we've got a stretch here in my glutes, my hamstrings, and then I'm going to drive up, drive my feet into the ground and squeeze my hamstrings and my glutes as hard as I possibly can. Keeping that tension on the muscles, I'll come down low and drive up nice and high and give my glutes a good squeeze there. Okay? This is a fantastic exercise to keep the glutes engaged, locked in, and we can get the reps up nice and high on these. Now we can get more 10, 12, even 14 for people that are a bit more experienced.